The Greystarks were a subsidiary branch of House Stark. By what we know, they were destroyed by the parent house as punishment for rebellion. House Bolton is a fellow major house of the North, not a subsidiary branch of any other house. They've fought wars with the Starks over at least 8 millennia, and both houses have come to eliminating the other one entirely. The current peace was achieved when the ruling king of the Dreadfort accepted the right to rule of the then King of Winter, making himself a vassal and making his descendants lords rather than kings. Welcome to my channel. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and also click on the notification bell to remain updated. I think it's important to remember that beyond knowing, generically, that the Greystarks and Boltons rebelled together, we don't know the circumstances of the actual rebellion, who started it or how it actually went. There's a big difference between the Greystarks losing a battle, surrendering and then being wiped out afterward, and the Greystarks all dying in active combat or during a siege, for example. There's this idea that the Starks had the Greystarks and the Boltons all lined up at some point and decided to wipe out one house but not the other, and there's really no proactive reason to think that's what happened. All we know is that the Greystark line died and the Bolton line didn't, but we don't actually know why, and that extends to knowing what the Starks actually did or didn't do to the Greystarks as punishment. So I think that has to be considered. The Greystarks might have all been killed, at least in the male line, during their failed rebellion, but the Boltons lived long enough to surrender, and that surrender was honored. It's also possible that the Greystarks were the actual original instigators, or the Boltons threw them under the bus, and drew a heavier punishment for that reason. There's also the fact that the Greystarks were an actual cadet branch, and their betrayal was possibly seen as worse for that reason. It's worse to be backstabbed by your own family that's benefited from your largesse than to be challenged yet again by a house that, to give them credit, has usually been pretty open about hating your guts. And there's the more out there idea that the Starks and Boltons have some sort of supernatural bond or pact going on, where the Starks were for whatever reason prevented from wholly obliterating them, which you'd think they'd have done at some previous point well before this, given their history and the Starks' eventual supremacy. This is a bit tinfoil, but the broad idea of the Starks and Boltons having some sort of Harry Voldemort-style duality isn't new. Until we know the actual nature of the rebellion and how it unfolded, though, this isn't a question that can really be accurately answered. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like this video and drop comments. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything.